Hi, I'm Heather McGowan. I'm going to talk to you about how AI is going to impact the future of work. Now, I have another video that's called AI is going to impact the future of work in life. You can see that in my YouTube channel. Let's talk about some questions we're going to answer. What is AI? How is AI a third lens into our world? How might AI change us? At the end of this video, you'll understand how humans are moving from control to responsibility. AI is a technology that learns from experience to accomplish tasks that used to require human intelligence. I learned this analogy from this book called AI Snake Oil, What AI Can Do, What It Can't, and How to Tell the Difference. And it's a really compelling analogy to think about how we use the word AI to cover a whole host of things. So AIs can be, sensor technology, can be voice assist, can be navigation, can be robotics, can be software. AI is a huge host of things. Now, let's take the analogy of transportation. What if we thought about all forms of transportation and we just use the word vehicle for everything? So whether we're talking about a bicycle, a car, a rocket ship, an airplane, a boat, a rowboat, scooter, we just use the word vehicle. It wouldn't work, right? Because if somebody said, oh my God, there's a new vehicle that can go 500 miles an hour, you're like, is that a bicycle that can go 500 miles an hour? Or if somebody said, there's a new vehicle technology that's really environmental, is it a rocket ship? So when we use the analogy of the vehicle, we can understand how we're misusing the word AI because we're using it to cover some huge host of technology. So I just want you to keep that in mind. So let's understand the evolution of our world. First, we had the telescope that allowed us to see beyond anything we could see with the naked eye. And then we had the microscope that allowed us to see into our world, into our cells at a microscopic level. And now we have LLMs, large language models, which is a type of AI that starts to help us understand our own thinking. And if we think about it that way and we use it as a tool, we can unleash more cognitive velocity if we pay attention to that third lens into our world. Let's talk about the evolution of tools and human cognition because they happen in concert. So we go from the printing press to the Dewey Decimal System to search capabilities to LLMs like ChatGPT to agentic AI. And with each one of these shifts, the tool does something new and the human cognition changes. So the technology shift with the printing press was that information scaled. Information and knowledge suddenly scaled and spread. With the Dewey Decimal System, knowledge was suddenly organized. With internet search, information was suddenly instant. With chatbots like ChatGPT, language was suddenly generated. Images were generated. And with agentic AI, action was automated. And then when all these shifts take place, something changes in the human as well. The human capability bump with the printing press was human literacy. The human change with the Dewey Decimal System was the categorization of information. We could think about how we stored and organized information, not only in systems, but also in our own brains. The human capability bump with search was instant access to information. The human capability with a chatbot was synthesis, and the human capability with agentic AI will be agency. And if you look at each shift and understand the human upgrade, so with the printing press, we went from memory to meaning. With the Dewey Decimal System, we went from knowledge to navigating. With the internet, we went from recall to retrieval. With the chatbot, we went from retrieval to judgment. And with agentic AI, we're going from judgment to responsibility. Let's talk about the advances of AI relative to human performance. If you look at handwriting analysis and image recognition, both of them started in the 90s and they both peaked around 2015. Speech recognition was more of a straight line up. It moved pretty quickly. Reading comprehension has moved really rapidly, as has language comprehension. Predictive reasoning was pretty much a straight line up, as have complex reasoning, code generation, and general knowledge. All of them have come in relatively recently and are almost reaching human capabilities. If you look at this image, it shows you how quickly AI capabilities are growing relative to human capabilities. And when keeping that in mind, then you start thinking about how should the human operate differently? How should the human think? So I call it the I to the T to the X. So at one point in time, we had a simple discipline identity. I am a banker, I am a marketing person, and that's all you did across your whole career. It was the one answer you gave when somebody said, what are you going to be when you grow up? You had that depth of knowledge, and you generally hung out and worked with other people who did the same job. And then in about the 90s, this idea of a T-shaped thinker came in. That's somebody who had depth in one area, but they could collaborate with people in adjacencies. So if you're a designer like I was, you could work with marketing people and engineers. Or if you were a healthcare clinician, you could work with people in social services to think about the entire patient experience. That was T-shaped thinkers. What I think we're moving into next is what I call an X-shaped thinker. That's a transdisciplinary mindset. And it's not only collaborating with other disciplines or functions, it's actually collaborating with human and artificial intelligence together. It's putting the problem at the center and saying, what is the best method of solving this problem? What's the best agent to use? Is it a human agent? Is it a technology agent? What different disciplines should be involved or functions should be involved? So you holistically look at the problem or the opportunity. This is what I call an X-shaped thinker, a transdisciplinary mindset. I think this is very much the future. So in reality, what we're doing here is moving from stored stocks of knowledge to working inflows of knowledge, some of which are emerging with artificial or agentic AI. So let's talk about some of the big shifts that are going to take place with AI in the future of work. You will have non-human coworkers, AI agents. If you don't already, you will have learning agents as partners, which may be humans, may be agents. We're going to move to the personalization of everything and the anticipation of everything. So we have the attention economy, which is kind of what we're in right now, we're coming out of. And the attention economy means that any site that you go on or any piece of technology that you touch has been more or less listening to you, more paying attention to what you've clicked on, you've delayed on, what you've paid attention to, and it serves you up more of that, or things like that it thinks you would like, or based on your profile, it puts stuff towards you. So the attention economy is putting a lot of stuff at you. The intention economy is looking at the behaviors underneath those things and suggesting what you may want even before you're asking for it. That's the anticipation of everything. We're also moving towards efficiency and optimization of everything. So what does this really mean for what the human does and what AI does? So execution used to be the execution of a task, execution of doing something. It used to be solely the domain of the human. Now that's going to be more the domain of AI. When AI does the execution, human moves into the role of judgment. So the human used to be in the role of motion. That used to be solely the domain of the human. The human made things happen. They did the action. But now AI is going to do the action or the motion, and human moves into the role of direction. So human was in the role of control. Now the AI is in the role of control, and the human is the role of responsibility. So as the human relinquishes control, it still maintains control for responsibility. So even if AI is acting on our behalf, the human is responsible. If you found this helpful, you can click on the link below and see my next video, how agentic AI is going to impact the future of work. I'm Heather McGowan. Thanks.